Hey everybody, special Adidas May Classic version of ScoopTalk. This is Dustin Dopirak, your faithful IU beat writer.
Indeed.
This is new intern Ryan Winn. I'm Hugh Kellenberger. It is Friday of the Adidas May Classic. It is the night event. Some teams, some games. Guys, just going to throw it out there. Who's the best player you saw tonight?
Well, easily for me, it was Aaron Thomas. Really athletic kid, 6'5", guard in the 2011 class. I also took a look at Justin Gant. Didn't get to see much of him. I had to do some video of Aaron Thomas. Hopefully that'll be up shortly. He showed some just great moves getting to the basket. I think his greatest asset was probably that alone, driving to the basket, slashing, getting to the basket without any trouble at all. When he did have trouble, he got fouled. He still made the shots. He had one reverse layup where he was twisting through the air, got hacked, and he still put it in. And then late in the game, they had the game in hand, so they're just playing around. And then his teammate threw him up a big alley-oop, and he slammed it home. And the guy next to me leaned over and said, "There it is." So these guys were looking for a big game from Aaron Thomas, and they definitely got it today.
Yeah, what did you see from Gant? I mean, we had you go watch him because we kind of view him as a under-the-radar kind of in-state prospect, maybe the kind of guy that Tom Crean needs to take even as a 11th, 12th, 13th guy because it's going to create a lot of good inroads for him in the future. Do you think Gant could play for IU?
I mean, he showed some great things that IU has been missing, every now and then. Just getting to the boards, cleaning up those rebounds really quickly. Defensively, especially, he boxed out guys and they didn't have a chance. They were pushed all the way back to about the three-point line. He grabbed the easy rebounds, and then offensively, he'd clean it up and put it in off the glass. I didn't see much of him. I only saw him score 4 points. So I'm going to assume he scored more than that. But the team won by about 42 points, he told me. And he's obviously a big part of that because he's the biggest guy on the team, and he was easily the biggest guy on the floor, too.
I've seen Gant before. I guess I obviously didn't see him play tonight. It wasn't in the same place. I guess the one thing that I thought about Gant, I saw him play against AJ Hammonds up in Carmel. And, I mean, I guess in neither case do we have really a fair assessment of what Justin Gant could be in that role because obviously AJ Hammonds is a lot bigger than he is. I mean, he's 6'10", 250, and, what is Justin, 6'8"? Gant is clearly a power forward. AJ Hammonds is clearly a center at the next level. Right. So, I mean, at the time, he worked really hard and he got pushed around sometimes, though. But it seemed to me that, I was thinking mid-major recruit when I saw him. I thought very good mid-major recruit, but not necessarily a guy that's, going to change the program. And obviously, Indiana's not in the situation where they have scholarships to use for a guy that you're going to make the 11th or 12th guy in the class of 2011 right now.
You're right, and I think
later.
Right, and I think the key is right now. I think he's a guy that I could see waiting until the spring, and if he's there in the spring and IU has scholarship available, I think him or Mitch McGarry is a very similar situation. A 4 that doesn't have an offer yet, but that may get an offer at some point. McGarry will watch tomorrow. He plays with the 1700 SYF team. I think they're in the same position as guys that IU needs to continue to scout, continue to be involved with, and tell them. It may be there eventually.
Just keep around. But let's be honest. That's if it's not Indiana for those guys, if they're able to catch on with another high major elsewhere and be an 11th or 12th guy, I don't know that the scholarship situation is going to work at Indiana. I highly doubt it. Actually, a lot of people would have to leave. But in the same aspect, it's people that they should probably look at, and it's people that other schools in a similar situation should probably look at.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head when I first saw him. I thought hardworking guy. This guy ran up and down the floor as hard as he could every time. Really no matter how much they were up, he still worked really hard. And
he does all the little things. He does every little thing.
And that cannot be. That's a big thing. Friday night of an event where college coaches cannot watch. And were there any scout rivals guys? Some guys are motivated by that. Cough, Marcus T. Cough. Gant. How hard do you work when no one's watching?
Right.
Dustin, you were able to watch the other big prospect tonight, Hamilton Southeastern guard Gary Harris. What did you think?
I was impressed. These things are always hard to tell. It was a little bit closer game than some of the other ones I saw tonight. And he's made some really nice plays. Some absolutely just jaw-dropping dunks that you'll see a couple pictures of. I didn't have a video camera. I don't really know how to use one yet, but he threw down just a reverse layup that was just nasty, and a couple more that were ridiculous. But probably the most physically impressive play that he had of the night. He was basically getting bear hugged pretty close underneath the basket. He just kind of somehow managed to force himself just to throw one up over his head, banked it in. Drew the foul, went and knocked down the free throw. He's put on 25 pounds in the past year to get up to 195. So 6'4", 195 for a sophomore rising to be a junior is pretty impressive. He's he's a lot stronger, and he made a couple just nice off-balance jumpers from about 10 to 15 feet that were really impressive. I mean, he was either off balance or he was fading away. So he showed a really good mid-range game. He seems to have really good instincts. He's a really impressive athlete, and you can see why. I mean, he's getting a ton of interest right now. I mean, I think he's got 10 offers. I mean, obviously he's visited Indiana already. He's got a visit from a scholarship offer from them. Most of the rest of the Big Ten, Ohio State included. Purdue's actually not involved. But Notre Dame.
They have a very bad scholarship situation for 2012. They're already full.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
probably
they're not
why.
With them apparently at all. But Xavier and some other teams. I mean, Indiana's going to have to battle for that kid. But that's another one. That class is really impressive, and that's another guy they're going to have to be going after.
Right. Big thing I did tonight. I wrote the lead story for the Herald Times. It was about Ron Patterson, the broad ripple guard, who is now going to be a junior, 2011 guy. He visited IU on an official visit last week. It was his first chance to see Cook Hall. His family came down. Family's very important to Ron. He talked about wanting to be close to home. He said that his parents are going to play a very important role in making that decision. He came away very impressed with Cook Hall. Actually said it was spectacular. Every indication is that IU is in an extremely good position with Ron Patterson. He's playing a little bit coy with it, which is nothing new for the recruiting game.
That's what happens.
But Tennessee is also very good in with him. Ohio State has been good in with him. But when he talks about what he wants, about being close to home, about wanting a chance to play early, it really adds up that we could see Patterson being a guy that really joins that 2012 class.
I've only seen him once also, and it was during the high school season. And I think, you tell me if you see the same things. I know you've seen him a few times. He's another one of those guys that also does the little things. And
does.
As much as he's able to take over in certain aspects, and he's obviously, I don't know, the role he plays, I guess, on his Indiana elite team, because that's a lot more talent maybe than he has at the broad ripple. But, he's able to, deflect attention when he has to. I mean, he'll draw defenders and, find somebody else open. I mean, he's the type of guy that does the things you need to win.
Yeah.
He's not about necessarily, trying to show off or trying to do those kind of things.
Yeah.
He does the small stuff as
He
well.
had 10 points in a 70-27 win. He's the best player on his team, but Kellen Dunham had a good night shooting, and they were feeding him. Kellen Thomas had a good night. But you're right. Patterson is a better than good defender for his age. He knows that defending is beyond reaching in and trying to grab at the ball. Yeah, he understands body positioning, like you said. He understands the importance of getting deflections. I think I had him with 4 steals. He probably had as many deflections that caused other steals. Anyways, I think those are the highlights for Friday. Tomorrow we will be starting, I think, at 9:15 is the first prospect game, and then they go all the way through. Pool play ends at 4:45 games, and then they switch around and start playing tournament, and then go all the way through that Sunday. So, guys, real quickly, who is the guy that you are most looking forward to watching tomorrow?
I think it's Aaron Thomas again. I think he really showed a lot. I want to see a little bit more of him defensively, just because the guys he defended all game, they just passed the ball off, so he never really got to defend a guy off the dribble. I want to see if he can stay in front of his man. That's really what I want to see. Offensively, I already know what he can do. I just want to see some more because it was really exciting to watch.
I haven't seen Yogi Ferrell yet, and I'll be interested to see how he works in with that, really, really loaded Indiana elite team. I mean, those are the most established guys here: Cody Zeller, Jeremiah Davis, I guess Marshall Plumlee, and all that whole entire group. I'm interested to see how Yogi fits in. I've never seen Yogi at all, so to see where he goes with those guys is going to be impressive. And also Brandon Dawson, I haven't had a chance to see him yet, so I mean he's probably the highest rated player here, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm anxious to finally get a look at him.
Yeah, I want to see Aaron Thomas. I remember watching him last summer, right when he had just started getting recruited, and he was a lot of fun to watch. You could definitely see the potential and why IU was getting interested in him. I really like Dawson. I'm really excited to see Hannah Perea. I just love watching the kid play. Baylor and IU are really his final schools, except the only ones he's talking to. But he can jump out of the gym. He can dunk. He just flies, and guys know how to feed him the ball, and he's a good rebounder and block shots too. All right, as always, thanks for joining us. We will have tons of coverage on the Scoop. You can also follow us on Twitter. We have links out on the page. We have our schedule, which will have links to everything if you just want to keep that open on your browser. Thanks.
See you tomorrow.